Welcome back, friends. In my last video, I presented before you a summary of the poem My Mother at 66, composed by Kamala Das. In today's video, I am going to explain this poem to you line by line. So, this is how the poem starts. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning. So, the narrator, the poetess, is describing an event from her past. So, she says that the previous Friday morning, when she was driving from her parents' home, she had spent some time with her mother at her parents' home, and now there she is on her way to the airport, and sitting next to her is her mother. The mother is accompanying the daughter to the airport. So the mother, after dropping her daughter at the airport, the mother will be coming back to her house while the daughter will go to Cochin. Perhaps this is the place where she lives. So driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me. So she noticed the appearance of her mother sitting next to her in the car. Doze open mouth. So the mother was like she was dozing, she was falling off, she was sleeping, and then while she was sleeping, her mouth was open because she was old and tired. Her face ashen, and her face was listless. It was pale. It did not have any color. Her face ashen, like ash, like that of a corpse. Just as a corpse face is ash colored, similarly the mother's face had also become like a corpse. And then the daughter realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, that the mother looked old, not just because she looked old, but she was actually old, and the daughter became conscious of the advancing age of her mother. But soon put that thought away, and the realization gave pain to the daughter. The realization of her mother's age gave an ache to the daughter's heart, but she put that thought away, the thought of her mother's advanced age, and looked out, decided to concentrate on something else, on the trees that could be seen outside in the road. The trees looked much younger in comparison to her mother's old age. And the trees looked as though they were sprinting, as though they were running very fast, but actually it was the car which was running fast, and the speeding car gave the illusion of the trees sprinting. The merry children spilling out of their homes, and from the road she could see some children coming out to play, and they were all happy, in contrast to the emptiness in the heart of the narrator, the poet, who was sad because she was going to miss her mother, and she was not going to be there with her mother for a long period of time. She was going to a different place. She was going to Cochin, and her mother would be going back to her own home after dropping her daughter at the airport. The merry children spilling out of their homes, but after the airport security check standing a few yards. And after the airport security check was over, the mother stood on one side while the daughter, being the passenger, the daughter was on the other side of the airport, and the mother was standing a few yards away from her daughter. Away I looked again at her when, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. So the mother was standing on the other side at the airport, and the daughter, she looked at her mother again. And the mother's face looked wan. That means lifeless, listless, dull, colorless, pale as a late winter's moon. Just as the moon late in the winter sky looks dull because of the presence of mist and fog in the sky outside. So, because of this, the winter moon does not look look good. It looks lusterless. Similarly, the mother, being an old aging woman, her face had shrunk, her figure had also shrunk, and she does not get much notice, just as a winter moon does not attract much attention because it is covered partially by fog and mist. As a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, and every time the daughter looked at her mother, that same old feeling of sadness related to separation, possible separation, came back to haunt the daughter's heart. My childhood's fear, and ever since her childhood, she had this fear that perhaps in the future she might lose her mother. And now, when she looked at her mother's old face, she became all the more conscious of the fact that her mother was perhaps not going to live for that long. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." So, Amma is the word she used to address her mother, and her parting words to her mother was, "See you soon." She promised to meet her mother again, but in her heart she knew that perhaps she might not get the chance to meet her mother again. Perhaps her mother would be gone from this world even before they got a second chance to meet again. All I did was smile and smile and smile. So the continuous smile that the poet had while she looked at her mother's face, it was in sharp contrast to the emptiness that she was feeling in her heart. So in order to cover up that emptiness, the poet tried to be brave, and she smiled and smiled and smiled at her mother continuously for as long as she could, in order to cover up the intense sadness that she was feeling in her heart. With these words, I come to the end of this poem. I do hope that you have understood this poem. Please subscribe to the channel if you appreciate this type of content. And until the next time we meet again, bye.